Welcome to In the Studio with Sharifah Hardie. In the studio, 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 in the
Yes, welcome to In the Studio with Sharifah Hardie. Sharifah Hardie. I have a very special guest in the studio today. One of my good friends and mentors. So it's so good. So thankful for the comment. My brother, also from Pastor, the creator of the church, right now, Pastor Gerald is with us in the studio. Okay, check it out. We're here with Pastor Gerald in the studio. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. It's a pleasure. I don't think so. I think we're on the same level.
We're off right there.
I can look. I'm not be up here.
No, we need to be right
Right
here.
here.
Maybe.
Oh, what's up?
Yeah.
What's on your plate?
Well, my mind is really focused on the fact that a lot of things happen everywhere. And I don't think how community really relates to how that's funded, that's what that is, as it relates to the starvation of funds. And then the fact that Florida is sending people to New York City, other places. And we, the people, are not talking.
But that's a lot, though. And let me kind of break that down. Because you're looking at it and you're mentioning Florida, Ethiopia, and all these different places. And so often, we can look at it and say, okay, well, they're doing that there. Why not here? And that people aren't aware of it. But doesn't it come down to, kind of what you care about the most, for lack of a better term?
Yes, what you care about the most. And because I care about people, I'm always looking across. And I'm always looking out. And I'm looking at the fact that there's a lot going on. And not that we have to bring everything into our personal space, but what is happening out is actually happening in, but it's just happening at a smaller degree. And if we're not paying attention to what's going on outside, that means we're going to miss something inside. And we've been missing a lot lately.
Okay, so do you believe, or is it your belief that people are unaware, people are missing out, or that people are focused on other areas? I know there are people who are struggling in a lot of different areas. So if I'm unable to maintain, I'm unable to get to the levels that I would like to reach, and that's a general I, not me as Sharifah Hardie. But if I'm unable to do the things that I need to do, does it make it difficult for me to say, okay, well, what's happening to people in Ethiopia?
Yes, yes, and yes. It is difficult because we all have our own personal things, life. And the one thing about life is that I say, are you ready, willing, and able to go where life is going to take you? Because life's going to take you somewhere. Even if you try to sit on the sideline of life, life's going to take you somewhere. So I believe people are really wrapped up in what's going on in their own lives, which would make what's going on in other areas far, far away. Because we're dealing with it, our own personal lives, day to day.
Now, good book says thou shalt not judge.
Of course.
However, I'm trying to in that statement that you made, we're dealing with our own personal lives. I want to, are you saying that's a good thing? Are you saying that's a bad thing? Is it positive? Is it negative? Is ignorance bliss? I mean, when we're dealing with our own personal lives and we're not focused on other areas, other nations, other states, are you seeing that as a good thing, or are you seeing that as more of a negative?
It's not positive nor negative. It's just a statement of fact that you have to deal with what's happening right here. And when you're dealing with what's happening right here, it's hard to focus on something else. So it's not a judgmental statement that you shouldn't be focused on your own life and what's happening, because I must focus on what's going on in my circle so that I can help someone else. And if I'm not taking care of what's important to me, my personal relationship with Christ, my caring for my family, I've got to deal with those things to make me, or to keep me in a healthy place so that I can help others. So
when you say things that are happening other places in the world, other places in the country, what is it that you feel that people should do? You know, you say they're not aware, or people are not aware, or so what is it that you feel that people can do more of?
I believe that we as a people, I believe that we as a people, individuals, should interact with what's going on in our personal space, what's going on in our lives. And this is one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I'm saying that we need to monitor our governmental policies, governmental affairs, and we, the people, must use our voices.
Okay. So how would you like we the people to use their voices? What is it? I mean, is that a protest? Is that a march? Is that a letter writing campaign? Should I get on the phone right now and call Biden and say this is what is it that you specifically feel that people should do more of?
Well, if we actively take a role in our personal life, that would put us in a place of being healthy enough to look at what's going on in and around us. And then each and every one of us have our personal circle of influence. And if we would pull those circles of influence together and begin to galvanize what are the priorities in that circle of influence, and then it grows from there. It grows from there.
To me, when I hear that, it sounds like a very rational, logical statement. But I feel many people, especially after going through a global pandemic, are just trying to maintain. And I think that's part of the problem, where you have a society of people who are just trying to maintain. You know, mental health is a huge issue right now. In a lot of different communities, everybody is traumatized, I think, again, after this global pandemic. So when you're experiencing trauma, when you're experiencing everything that you're going through on a personal level, how do you step away from that and say, okay, well, now let me look at the nation, now let me look at the world as a whole?
Well, you're absolutely correct. But one statement comes to mind. The danger of being good is that you'll never be great. And greatness is a seed in each and every one of us. A few things happened, I believe, during the pandemic. Well, there were a lot of marriages that broke up. There were a lot of things that took place. But one of the main things that I believe may have taken place at some level is that people had a rediscovery that there's something on the inside of me that I didn't know was there. And my factual point to that is, look at all the businesses that came up because people found out that they had something on the inside of them that had been dormant. And even though it was presented and it was challenging to be locked in and locked down, but it caused some serious thought.
Mhm.
People lost lives. A lot of things happened. But now coming out of that, things are so open for those who are in tune with the universe. The universe, created by God, the universe exists because God created it, but because we're in it. We are in tune with the universe. Every heartbeat, we're energy. If a heart stops, it takes electricity to get it back moving again. And so there lies within the dark crevices of the pandemic that people died, marriages broke up, a whole lot of things came out. And even coming out now, that there's a lot of mental illness that took place. But I just believe all of this happened to draw out a lot of stuff. And it depends upon where you are here. And this is regulated by this, by the way. If these two are in line, then where we are today, there's nothing but opportunity. And because of technology, years ago, a business would go from inception 5 years or more before reaping. Now, because technology reproduces itself quicker than I can snap my finger, now businesses are maturing 6 months, a year, 18 months. They're doing now what they used to do 5 years ago.
Wow. And then yet you still want people to do more. That's all I got out of everything that you just said.
Yes.
I mean, because that seems like
You
a lot
gotta
of
get
work
up
for
on
you to
it.
go into your own system, work on what you have going on, and build this new business that's taking off at the speed of light, and then go, okay, wait a minute, let me help the people in Florida.
Because of the energy that comes up when you are actively doing something, it opens up other energies that come in. You don't get tired is not it. You don't find anyone successful that sleeps. Help me, Holy Ghost. Yes, we're supposed to get 8 hours of sleep. Yes, we need rest. But then based on the individual, a successful individual who's up on his game, he does not want to fall back. He wants to keep moving forward. In order to do so, you set a pace and a momentum, a comfortable pace, a comfortable momentum that comes with the success that you've already received. So yes, and sometimes it would seem that that energy is not available because we're trying to fight out of a box. We're trying to tear out of something. I have some hidden things that I've not resolved yet. So that compounded with day-to-day life, it still makes me want to sleep 8 hours, keep the blinds closed and not allow any sunlight or light to come in.
But you can't do that.
Say what?
But you can't do that.
Yeah, no, you can't keep the blinds closed. You gotta allow the light to come in. And first, the light of his love. Because the light of his love in your heart changes the behavior. And when your behavior changes, your surroundings are going to change. The people you talk to are going to change. Your psychological outlook on life is going to change.
And so do you feel that with your psychological outlook on life changing, that now I rest, I'm going a different direction right now. But I love to research. You know, that's one of the things I love to do. I hear something, I'm like, okay, I have to just Google this. I have to research. I have to figure this out. And I saw that people who were having different issues, whether they were relationship issues or financial issues or dealing with, their boss. People would start to label more and more people as narcissists. And I began to wonder. I was like, okay, why is it that, everybody like, oh, well, the dude left me, he's a narcissist. Oh, well, my boss fired me because he's a narcissist. And I was like, but we've been dealing with people since people been people, right? But all of a sudden, everything is everybody's saying it's because they're narcissistic. And so I was like, okay, I have to understand it. So I began to research on one of the things that they said, or at least in this article, I don't remember who wrote it, but they said it's because as a society, we've gone from we're more of a society now that is more about I and me as opposed to us and we. And so that creates more quote unquote narcissistic personalities. So what I'm hearing you say, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that with that focus, that in that inner work, we can now see society as a whole more as a us and a we, and that we're all connected, we're all energy, as opposed to being more divisive and saying this is what I need, because that's one of the things that occurred during the pandemic. People became more family oriented, they became more community oriented. I had a lady on one of my shows who said that she heard that this other lady had taken this piece of paper and wrote, I'm here if you need help, during the pandemic, if you need groceries, whatever it is, this is my name, this is my number. And she passed it out all over her neighborhood. So the guest on my show thought that was a beautiful idea. She did the same thing and passed it out over her neighborhood. But what was interesting is the results that she had surprised her. She said she did not have one person who contacted her asking for help, not one person who contacted her needing anything, but she had multiple people who contacted her and said, you know what? I've been living here for 10 years and you're across the street and I had no idea who you are. I had no idea what your name is. Nice to meet you, neighbor.
Wow.
Yes.
You know what you did?
What?
You just sent me into the stratosphere.
Is that a good thing?
That's a good thing. I see all kind of stuff.
What's up there? What you see?
Oh my God. So it's, what do you say? Us and say that statement again.
It's instead of focus more now, or probably prior to the pandemic, I and me.
Stop.
Okay.
I and me is what's going on a lot of our college campuses.
Okay.
And so now from the college campuses, and this is no knock against higher education. I'm just talking about the influence that's on the college campuses of I and me. That's the way I like it. Come on and do it. Do it till you're satisfied. And that is what pushes us to what you originally said, that narcissistic type thought, because it's about me, vice us. And that's where one of the negatives is in our society.
Okay.
Because if I can walk by my neighbor's garage and I know it's open and I see his cars and I know he might have been in a rush, if I can't call my neighbor, ring the bell for him to close his garage, you understand what I'm saying? It's about neighborhood. It's about each one teach one. It's about each one help one. If we go all the way back to that storybook that they used to teach us in school about the colonies meeting the Indians and they all got together. But we know there's a whole nother side to that too.
That's
not
true.
Gonna go there.
Right.
But just that
you
thought.
have to come back.
Yeah. Just that thought of what happens when community comes together. And see what is happening now. There are communities out there. Communities? Yeah. I'll leave it there because I'll keep it gentle. There are communities out there that realize that they necessarily may not be as dominant as they once were. So now, what can we do? How can we muddy the water? What can we put out there that'll self-destruct other communities and it'll keep us in a place of dominance?
You're going to leave it there because I heard the said and the unsaid. So I'm going to ask another question, follow up, that if that is the case, that other things are being put out there in order to continue the domination of other communities, what do you see And just speaking, you know, and I'll sidebar for a minute, because I think sometimes you and I have the same, I don't want to say problem, but situation where we have to ask ourselves, who are we speaking for? You know, am I speaking for Sharifah? Am I speaking for the chamber? Am I speaking for, you know, who am I speaking for?
Because we got some hats.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, Gerald Johnson. Okay.
Dangerous.
You know what I mean?
Oh, help, Holy Ghost.
What should those communities that are feeling the effects of these things that are put out there, what should they do?
The communities that are feeling the effect of being less than, or the communities that feel the fact that their numbers are decreasing, which one?
Less than. The people who have been less than.
Okay, so the people who are feeling less than and not more than feeling less than, but are less than, it's time for us to realize that we are more than.
Woo! Preach.
Say that. And we are more than, not because of what our ethnicity is. We're more than, not because of what somebody has said we are. And I'm just going, oh, you said Gerald Johnson, right? So I'm a black man in the United States of America. I don't need another American, no matter what the ethnicity is, to try and define who I am. I'm a black man. I'm a proud black man. And everything that I want, it's because it's my inheritance. You don't owe me anything. It is my inheritance. I am black. I am proud. We've lost that. My inheritance says that the southern kingdoms overpowered the northern kingdoms and put the northern kingdoms on ships and came over here, and from there to plantations, and from there to the civil rights movement. And all of that means I inherited these things. My people that came before me are great people. I am a great man of God. I am a black man, and I am moving towards my inheritance. I got to take my hand up now. This racism thing that society has planted. They planted racism because they can control that. There's no such thing as racism unless we accept it. So when I, as a black man, feel that I have been violated, I'm going to check your policies. I'm going to check your procedures. I'm not going to come in your office and say, because I'm black, you did this. No, your policies say this. Your procedure says this. Your goals said this. And I'm wondering why I'm experiencing this. And I'm only going to go to that particular place after I've called CNN or NBC and talk about policies, procedures, and mission statements and goals. We have got to move from this thing, I'm black, and because I'm black, this is what's going to happen. No, you did this to me. That's why you did it. But I'm not going to experience it this way. It's my inheritance. I know who I am, and I want what's mine, and I've got to fight to get it. Not necessarily on the pavement, not necessarily with these, because the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through pulling down of strong holds. There's some strong holds that must be pulled down, and it's the strongholds in our mind.
Yes. Woo! The spirit is moving. It's just moving. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. However, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. The spirit ain't about to leave us yet. Because with everything that you just said, one of the things that has stood out to me is that in 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019, we're going to go back a few years. To me, there has been more of a movement for people to say, well, you know, slavery was a long time ago. Why don't you just get over it? Why don't you just let that go? You know, I wasn't even around then. That's what certain people will say. But I love how you said it's our birthright, because something that's your birthright is something that's passed on from generations to generations. And our wealth that was our birthright is something that has never been passed down to us. All the work, all the hours, all the everything that was done.
Everybody benefits from the light bulb. Everybody benefits from open heart surgery. Everybody benefits from the traffic light. Everybody benefits from the telephone. Everybody benefits from the peanut. Everybody benefits. It is our inheritance, and I want mine.
So how does, like me, I want mine. You know, I always talk about it on my shows.
Well, you got to work. See?
Okay. Okay.
God gave man one thing. Work. You're going to work.
Okay.
Adam did it.
Okay.
And now we got to work.
Okay.
Even the promises that I believe in my word of God that said the children of Israel was promised a promised land.
Mm-hmm.
They knew it, understood it. God prepared Moses to lead them to it.
Mm-hmm.
When they got led to it, there were some of the tribes that said, we are right here. We're not crossing over.
Mm-hmm.
But there were other tribes that crossed over, even though it was a promise, even though it was their inheritance, because God promised Abraham that he would. They still had to fight. Even though it is our inheritance, we've got to work towards it. And you see, the work starts within me first. We've got to do the personal work. What we have been conditioned to do is let other people work for us and think we should get something. My name is Jimmy. Gimme. You got to work. And you got to work faithfully. Just like the southern kingdoms who worshiped many gods came against the northern kingdom who worshiped the one God. We have learned the lessons. We've learned lessons. We've picked up some bad habits, and we have to work out of those bad habits.
No, because you're going in a lot of different directions, and I love it because I can feel the spirit moving and it's just coming through. But I want to go back to the question that I asked, which was, do you feel or have you seen more of this feeling of people who saying, you know, because you and I talk about this all the time, because you know, people see me as an angry Black woman. You know, that's the perception.
I was trying not to go there.
No, but that's kind of what you brought up, you know, and but people, and I feel, and my dad and I have this discussion all the time, I believe in righteous anger. You know, I think when people feel that you are angry, they're more scared about what you might do. But I feel that in a society where you have an anything goes society, it's, you know, based on everything that has happened, you do have a right and entitlement into our people to feel anger, as opposed to
that very movement right there.
Okay.
When it happens, it automatically brings a negative connotation associated with it.
Right.
Put a pin there. If I am alive, living in this skin, by the way, nobody knows about this unless you've lived in it.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm alive and I live in this skin and nothing makes me angry, something got to. So there is anger, righteous anger. And we have been painted in always anger coming from the negative perspective. But I learned through my life that it is an emotion, and we have 5 of them. And anger is given to us to make us do something. But if I've only seen anger in a negative connotation, that's what I'm going to react to. I had to learn, and the Spirit of God crossed me over. Yes, I am angry, but it takes 2 seconds, cause and effect. What am I going to do with this? I'm going to channel this to something positive.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. I love it. These are the things you learn right here in the studio.
In the studio.
With Sharifah Hardie. And today's guest is Pastor Gerald Johnson. Check out his link in the description box. Visit the website at thegreaterharvest.org. And tell us, Pastor Johnson, where can people see you? When are you?
Every Sunday, 10 a.m., 1144 Olive, live and in living color. Come on by. And please, 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 let me give you this disclaimer. We're loud, we're explosive, we are alive, and you will not leave like you came. So come on by 1144 Olive
Amen.
in the city of Long Beach.
You calling out?
Thank you for tuning in to Sharifah Hardie. Visit the website at AskSharifah.com. Until next time, have a wonderful day.